I never asked you to post my book because I need you to.
Say sorry to my baby mama, and I'm gonna post your book right now.
You don't ever ask me to respect no until she's your wife. If you didn't know.
I'm gonna hang up on that hoe.
Stop.
If you lost your mother, this said, I'll post your book when you apologize to my baby mama. First of all, is it your baby mama? Because you told us the last was your baby, and now that the baby can't run, jump, hop, skip, or do shit, now that ain't your baby. I should have got drunk and while I was pregnant with you. Don't ever keep thinking that I need you, Jonathan.
New Mexico. I answer it. We'll get a clip out of her.
Hello.
Seattle, Washington.
Ask Jonathan why he didn't post my book on his Instagram so that my sales could go up.
Why didn't you post her book?
I ain't post your book. Why you keep dissing my baby mama on Instagram?
What baby mama?
The one you calling.
When did I diss her on Instagram?
When don't you diss her on Instagram? What do you mean?
Nevaeh, would you please tell him to shut the fuck up, and why didn't he post my book?
Baby, post her book.
Are you gonna stop disrespecting my baby mama?
What are you talking about?
You.
Alright. That's what I'm gonna say when you ask me to post your book. What are you talking about?
Jonathan, I'm so highly irritated with you right now, and your lack of support. Nevaeh, do I disrespect you on Instagram, Nevaeh?
You don't disrespect me over the phone.
Did she disrespect you on Instagram?
She done did a few things.
Okay, so that's a yes, but she's being nice because you're my mom. So she respects you. All right, but you're
Karlissa, are you for real?
but you 50 years old. You 50 years old though.
You know I only said something because you probably said something.
The internet did not just get messy. It got dragged into a full-blown family war that feels like a reality show finale mixed with a WWE cage match and a Marvel crossover nobody was ready for. Because out of nowhere, Karlissa's Saffold didn't just speak. She went off. And when Karlissa goes off, it's never quiet, it's never subtle, and it definitely doesn't end peacefully. Now let's talk about the headline that hit timelines like a lightning strike. Blueface, accused of disowning Chrisean's baby. Not ignoring, not staying silent, disowning, and if that wasn't enough to shake the internet. Karlissa stepped in like she had been waiting for this exact moment, calling him out with the kind of energy that makes people stop scrolling and start screen recording. And oh, she didn't stop there. Because somehow, in the middle of this chaos, Nevaeh's name gets pulled into the storm. And now we're not just dealing with drama, we're dealing with layers, family tension, public callouts, emotional reactions. The kind of situation where every sentence feels like it could start another argument. Social media didn't react. It exploded. Comments flooded in like people were clocking into a shift at the drama factory. Some were shocked, some were furious, and some were just sitting back watching the chaos like it was premium entertainment. Memes started forming before the story even finished developing. Opinions everywhere, facts still loading. Because let's be real, when someone gets called out publicly like this, especially by their own mother, it hits different. This didn't just pop out of nowhere, like some random rumor floating through timelines. Nah, this felt like pressure that had been building for a long time finally exploding in public. When Karlissa Saffold stepped in and went OFF, it didn't come across like a quick reaction. It felt calculated, emotional, and heavy, like someone who had been holding things in for way too long finally saying enough is enough. And the second those words hit the internet, everything shifted from regular celebrity chaos to something way more serious, way more personal, and way more uncomfortable for everyone watching. Now let's talk about Blueface, because his name being at the center of this situation is exactly why things escalated so fast. His history already comes with drama, unpredictable moves, and moments that always seem to pull attention whether he wants it or not. But this time, this wasn't about music, clout, or petty arguments. This was about something deeper, something that hit people emotionally. The idea of disowning a child. That's not something the internet just scrolls past. That's the kind of headline that stops people mid-scroll and makes them question everything they thought they knew. And the moment Chrisean Rock and her baby got pulled into the center of the narrative, the entire tone changed instantly. This wasn't just messy drama anymore. This was layered, complicated, and uncomfortable. Fans started digging up old clips like they were solving a mystery, replaying past interviews, comparing statements, and suddenly all those small moments from before started looking like warning signs that nobody paid attention to at the time. It was like watching a movie where the ending suddenly makes every earlier scene hit differently. But what really pushed this into full chaos mode was the reaction online. Because people didn't just comment, they picked sides, some jumped in defending Karlissa, saying she had every right to speak up and call out something that's serious, especially if she felt like nobody else was addressing it. Others pushed back hard, arguing that family issues should never be blasted publicly like this, and that putting everything online only makes things worse. And just like that, the situation turned into a full-on debate, with opinions flying left and right like nobody was willing to stay neutral. And the craziest part, even with all the noise, all the reactions, and all the breakdowns, nobody actually knew the full story. There were no clear answers, no confirmed details. Just pieces of information floating around that only made things more confusing. But instead of slowing things down, that uncertainty made everything more intense. Because now people weren't just reacting, they were guessing, theorizing, and building narratives that may or may not even be true. And that's exactly where things get dangerous. Because once the internet starts filling in the blanks on its own, the story stops being controlled by facts and starts being driven by chaos. And just when it felt like things were already at their peak, like the situation couldn't possibly get more intense than this, new whispers started circulating, not loud, not confirmed, but enough to make people pause and look at everything differently. Because if those hints turn out to be true, then this whole situation might not just be about one statement or one moment. It might be something much bigger that's been unfolding behind the scenes this entire time. And trust me, if that's the case, then what we've seen so far is just the beginning, and just when it felt like the situation had already reached its peak. The internet said now, we're not done yet, and took things to a whole new level of chaos. Because Karlissa's call-out didn't just sit there, it triggered a reaction chain so loud, so messy. It felt like a Zeus reunion episode mixed with a WWE brawl where nobody knows who's on whose side anymore. Every post, every comment, every reaction just kept adding fuel to a fire that was already out of control. The timeline turned into a battlefield overnight. Bloggers jumped in first, breaking everything down like they were narrating a documentary. Then came influencers, reaction pages, and random accounts with strong opinions and zero hesitation. Everyone had a take, and nobody was holding back. Some people were defending Karlissa's scaffold like she just exposed something major, while others were side-eyeing the entire situation, questioning whether this should have ever been brought to the public in the first place. And then the memes arrived, because of course they did. Within minutes, the situation was being compared to dramatic movie scenes, reality TV walkouts, even soap opera moments where someone storms out yelling "I'm done," while the camera zooms in dramatically. The internet turned serious tension into viral content like it always does, but underneath the jokes, the division was getting stronger by the second, because now people weren't just reacting. They were choosing sides. On one side, you had people saying Karlissa was absolutely right to call things out. They argued that if something serious is happening, staying silent only makes it worse. They framed her as someone standing up, speaking truth, and refusing to let things slide just to keep things looking peaceful on the outside, but on the other side, oh, they weren't having it. They questioned everything, the timing, the wording, the public nature of the call-out. They argued that family issues should stay private. That putting something this heavy online only adds more chaos instead of solving anything. And just like that, the situation turned into a full-blown debate where nobody wanted to back down. Meanwhile, Blueface's name stayed locked in the center of the storm. Whether he spoke or not, his past actions, previous statements, and history all got dragged back into the spotlight like unfinished business. Old clips resurfaced again, timelines got dissected, and suddenly everything felt connected. Even if it didn't fully make sense, because once the internet starts connecting dots, it doesn't stop that. And then came the analysts. You know exactly who they are. The internet investigators who appear during moments like this with long threads, detailed breakdowns, and explanations that somehow feel both convincing and confusing at the same time. They slowed down clips, compared past behavior, and started building narratives that made the situation feel even bigger than it already was. Look at this pattern. This lines up with what happened before. This isn't new. It's been happening. And suddenly, people weren't just watching anymore. They were invested, emotionally, mentally, and even personally. Because once a situation involves family, children, and public callouts, it stops being just entertainment. It becomes something people relate to, judge, and argue about like it's a real-life case unfolding in front of them. And that's when the tone shifted again, because now the conversation wasn't just about drama, it was about responsibility, boundaries, and consequences. What does it mean to disown a child? When is it justified to speak out publicly? Who is actually being affected the most in all of this? These questions started turning the entire situation into something deeper, heavier, and way more complicated than anyone expected at the beginning. But here's the part that kept everything spinning. Even with all the noise, nobody had the full story. No confirmed details, no complete timeline, no clear explanation that tied everything together. And that uncertainty, that's what made everything worse. Because when people don't have answers, they start creating their own. Theories got bolder, assumptions got louder, narratives started forming that may or may not even be true. And every new post, every reaction, every comment just added another layer to the confusion. And then, right when things felt like they couldn't possibly get more intense, a shift started happening. Not loud, not obvious, but noticeable enough to make people pause. Because some voices began questioning whether the entire situation was being misunderstood, whether emotions and viral momentum had turned something complex into something explosive, whether the internet had taken pieces of a story and built a version that wasn't fully accurate. And just like that, the confidence started cracking. Because if there's even a chance that things aren't exactly what they seem. And just like that, the noise started to change, not disappear, not calm down completely, but shift into something way more uncomfortable. Because after all the shouting, all the debating, all the viral chaos, the situation didn't end with answers. It ended with confusion. The kind of confusion that makes people sit back and rethink everything they just believed 5 minutes ago. Because suddenly, the same voices that were loud before, slowing down. The same takes that felt confident, now sounding unsure. The same clips everybody was arguing over, being questioned all over again. And right in the middle of it all, still standing at the center of the storm, was Karlissa Saffold. Her words didn't fade. They didn't get lost in the noise. They stayed echoing across timelines like something people couldn't fully process, but couldn't ignore either. I'm calling it out. I'm done with this. It sounded final. It felt serious. But the longer the situation sat online, the more people started asking, was that really the full story? Because here's where things got even more complicated. The emotional fallout started hitting harder than the drama itself. Fans weren't just reacting anymore, they were feeling it. Some felt disappointment, others frustration, and some even confusion about how everything escalated this far in the first place. Because once a situation involves a child, it stops feeling like entertainment and starts feeling real in a way that hits differently. Meanwhile, Blueface's name stayed locked in the conversation like it had nowhere else to go. Whether he responded or stayed silent, people kept pulling him back into the narrative, analyzing every past moment, every statement, every interaction like they were trying to piece together a puzzle that was missing key pieces. And that's when the twists started forming. Not loud, not dramatic, but subtle and dangerous. Because some people began to question whether the entire situation had been interpreted the wrong way. Whether viral momentum turned assumptions into facts. Whether the internet once again built a full storyline out of fragments that didn't tell the complete truth. Now suddenly, the conversation flipped. Instead of arguing about what happened, people started questioning how it was understood. Did we jump too fast? Did we react before knowing everything? Did the internet turn a complicated situation into a simplified narrative just for the sake of drama? And just like that, certainty disappeared. The same situation that once felt explosive now felt unclear, not resolved, not confirmed, just hanging in the air like a question nobody could answer. The jokes slowed down, the debates got quieter, the reactions more cautious. It was like the internet collectively paused, not because the story ended, but because nobody was fully sure what was real anymore. And that is the real ending of this chapter. No clear winner, no confirmed truth, no clean resolution. That wraps everything up nicely. Just a situation that started loud, escalated into chaos, and then faded into uncertainty. Because sometimes the biggest drama doesn't end with answers. It ends with questions. And right now, those questions are louder than ever. People are still watching, still waiting, still refreshing timelines like something new might drop at any second. Because whether Karlissa meant every word, whether things change behind the scenes, or whether this is really the final break. Now wait a second. Before you scroll off like this wasn't one of the messiest situations you've seen all week, let's talk about it. Because what we just broke down, that wasn't just drama. That was a full-on emotional roller coaster with twists, tension, and zero clear answers. 1 minute you think you understand what's going on, and the next minute everything flips and you're left sitting there like, nah, something's not adding up. So now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. And don't hold back. Do you think Karlissa Saffold was right to call everything out publicly? Or do you feel like this should have stayed behind closed doors? And what about Blueface? Is he being misunderstood? Or is there something deeper we're not being told? Because let's be real, this comment section is about to turn into a whole courtroom. Some of y'all are coming with full breakdowns. Some of y'all got timelines ready. And a few of you already typing paragraphs like you were there. And I want to see all of it. Now, don't just watch. Get involved. Smash that like button like it owes you money. Subscribe like you don't want to miss the next twist. And hit that notification bell so you're first in line when the next piece of this chaos drops. Because if this situation taught us anything, it's that things can change fast. We don't do boring over here. We do drama. We do chaos. We break down stories that got the internet shaking like it just saw something it wasn't supposed to see. So if that's your vibe, stay locked in with Fame Flaws, where the drama stays loud, the truth gets messy, and the next viral explosion.